Today on the Nerdy Gritty, we talk about Godzilla vs. King Kong and what makes a dumb premise a good movie.
One more world disappears inside it. Just another hopeless addict. World that makes a man insane. If the drums don't get you, the guitars will.
Welcome back to the Nerdy Gritty, where we delve deep to the details of pop culture.
Hey, it's Batman.
I am Kaiju Dez. Whoa.
I'm simple but entertaining Fox.
Well, you're half right.
Yeah. Nah.
You're a complicated guy. That's what I'm saying, you know?
Hey, shut up.
Oh,
Guess
okay.
what?
What?
Movie theaters are opening back up again.
Oh, man.
In a month and a half.
You're so excited.
The theaters around us, specifically the one that I go to most of the time, is opening back up. And my intro is let's just talk about movie theaters and how great they are.
That's really it?
That's what we're going to talk about. What are you going to do when you get to go back to a movie theater?
Not go, because for my family to go to movie theaters, it's $100.
You have to take out a second mortgage to go see a movie that might be terrible. I'm gonna just kick down that freaking door.
You are.
You're gonna slam my Regal membership on there, my Regal subscription, and be like,
"Give me all the movies.
Bring me all the movies. Bring me all the popcorn." Well, no, I still have to pay for popcorn.
Which one would you like to? I want all of them.
Give me all at
Find
the same
a way
time
to separate
move
the
all
screen.
the projectors into one theater. And I need to do some catching up here. That's what I'm gonna do.
Man,
bring me a pillow and blanket. I will be sleeping in between screenings, but I will not be leaving. No, I'm very, very, very excited. Also because like the indie theaters around us are starting to open up again.
Right.
They don't have a lot of like, here's what we're showing yet, because I think there's going to be a weird period before like big blockbusters start to come up again. I mean, like Black Widow is going to be one of the first big ones, and that's not till July. So there's going to be like a month.
And it's still going to be on Disney Plus.
Well, sure, it's going to be on Disney Plus and in theaters.
Right. Like they're still doing both of them.
Right, 100%. Movie theaters are back. Welcome back. We missed you. And I love you very much, but also you could be better.
That's
better,
true.
Guys. Do better. This should have been a wake-up call, Regal. Do better.
Do you know how they are gonna be like?
They're gonna be, I think, at like 50% capacity, I believe, as well as just they have a whole list of like everybody's gonna wash their hands all the time, and you won't be able to do. This is how you'll do concessions and things like that. But largely because I usually like go to the movies by myself because I'm sad.
Right.
Won't affect me at all.
I'm sad.
Anyway, I'm excited. That's all I wanted to talk about.
That's your intro.
I'm very excited.
That's what our normal 10 to 15 minutes of time that we allot.
Hey, less editing for me. It's great.
All right. Well, I guess we're talking about news then?
My first news article is movie theaters are back.
They're back. They're back. No, I have one that I think you might be pretty excited about here, Fox.
Okay.
You liked Ghost of Tsushima, right?
I enjoyed that game, yes.
Yeah, did you like it? If you were to give it a scale of 1 to 10.
I don't enjoy numerical. I'd say
I know you don't, but
7.5 or 8.
7.5? Okay,
like,
so a decent amount.
Really fun.
Good.
The story was the highlight, but as far as the gameplay goes, it was largely okay.
A Ghost of Tsushima movie from John Wick director is in development.
Chad Stahelski or whatever his name is.
Stahelski,
sure.
So a movie adaptation of Ghost of Tsushima with John Wick director Chad Stahelski is attached to it. And so here's what I want to know.
Sure.
What are they going for here? Like, because to me, it really seemed like Ghost of Tsushima was this honoring of the the old samurai films. And,
the classic Kurosawa films from the early 1900s.
And just really kind of digging into the not shinobi, what's what I'm looking for? Bushido aspect of it,
code
whatnot.
Of honor
right.
And,
But John Wick to me seems like this fast-paced kill everybody.
See, that's why I'm kind of excited. See, here's why I'm excited about this. We're going to talk about John Wick actually later in our main topic.
Are.
Yeah.
Oh, our main topic. Oh,
our main topic because I think it's going to be appropriate to bring up. But Chad Stahelski is originally a stunt coordinator. That's like who he was, like one of the major stunt coordinators on the Matrix movies.
Oh.
And that's why there's that connection between him and
Keanu Reeves.
And that's why in this movie, in the John Wick trilogy, it does stunts so well because the person in charge of the movie genuinely cares about the quality and how you're showing these stunts and like just.
I mean, it's also stunts the movie.
Well, it is,
Yeah.
but they're very well done.
Yes, very well.
There's
Which is
still
why
some-
it's good. Yeah.
which is why that I think that's a cool choice for Ghost of Tsushima is because that's going to be a stunt heavy movie. You're going to have a lot of cool sword play. You're going to have a lot of horseback riding. You're going to have a lot of really stunt heavy stuff scenes where combat and like the fidelity and realism of the combat is going to be important for you to truly buy what's going on. Hey, you know Reggie. Everybody loves Reggie Fils-Aime.
Yeah.
He's you know how about a year ago we learned he's joining the GameStop. He joined the GameStop board of directors, and we were like, oh, cool. That might be a good sign. He's big part of his career is being in Nintendo, and they know how to innovate really well and adapt with the times. And so maybe GameStop will be he'll have his direct.
GameStop is at their highest earnings for a long while right
they
now.
They were, yeah. It's not gonna. I mean,
it dropped and it went back up again.
Sure,
but anyway,
but he's done. He's
what?
Off.
Oh, well.
He's leaving the board. Yeah, former Nintendo of America president Reggie Fils-Aime leaving GameStop board of directors after almost exactly a year. I think a little less than a year into his tenure, he has stepped down along with I think someone else, including let's see, one of 8 board members set to be replaced at GameStop's 2021 annual meeting of shareholders. Including former CEO of Walmart, William Simon, PetSmart president, current Pet, and let's see, bunch of dudes, bunch of people.
Here's what I see happening. Are you ready? Reggie, their GameStop is dying. They go to Reggie and they say, Reggie, you video game, also you innovate. Come GameStop. With us.
Right.
And he says, all right, cool, let's go do this. And they sit down and they're like, Reggie, tell us how to get more people to reserve games and get our subscription. And Reggie says, no, let's do this.
No, do it differently.
Let's do this innovative thing. And let's change the way you sell stuff. And they go, nah.
That sounds like work.
Nah. And for 1 year, he tries to get them to innovate. And they really want to just get more people to reserve games and buy subscriptions and sell their used games.
Now they're just gonna hire a bunch of Reddit stock traders.
Just a bunch of local pawn shop owners.
There it is. That's what it is.
Well, should we get into what we've been up to?
Yeah, sure.
Because it's been 2 weeks, so it's been a lot.
It's been a couple weeks. I don't have that much actually, but yeah.
I do.
Yeah,
but I'll
I'm
try to
sure.
go through them fast. But we also had a short intro today, so
Yeah.
I watched Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh yeah, Live Die, also known as Live Die Repeat, with
Tom
Thomas
Cruise and Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
By the way, just watching Emily Blunt in this movie the whole time, I was like, whew, girl, she looks like she's like cut, man. She looks like she can thump you. And like 6 times during this movie, I'm looking at her, I'm like, that's Mary Poppins.
That's Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins is ripped.
Yeah, man.
I would love an action Poppins.
Heck yes. She just wrecks everybody's face. Anyway, it's basically montage the movie because there's so much repeating the same thing over and over again that they're just doing montage of
constantly,
the training and whatnot, and it's fantastic.
It was a fun movie.
It was so, again, it's goes into our theme today, our subject today, but this is one of those movies where it wasn't great, but it was fun. So much fun. And again, we'll talk about this more, but it does a really good job of not trying to lean too heavily on the plot or the science or anything like that.
Yeah.
They just tell you, this is the way it is because it is. Now have fun watching this. And then on top of that, I also watched Mars Attacks.
Okay.
The old Tim Burton kind of camped sci-fi film. Here's what I'll say about
from
that.
Classic Tim Burton era.
Yes. The CG in this is awful.
Sure, yeah.
Like, it was like 1996, I think,
Mid-90s,
1995, something like that. And it looks like Oddworld in the 90s quality and put against the real world stuff. It was goofy and kind of taking you out of the fiction, which was unfortunate. But other than that, the camped performances from Jack Nicholson, from Natalie Portman,
Pierce Brosnan in that one.
Pierce Brosnan.
There's a lot of people now.
Yeah, like everybody just hams it up, and you can you can just feel how much fun everybody's having in this movie. Nobody's taking themselves seriously, and because of that, everybody's having fun. It is a brilliant homage as well as satire of classic 40s and 50s sci-fi stuff.
serials
and but also there's some like pretty strict political commentary in this, really relevant stuff, and things like that. Man, it was really good.
I'll start with my weird sci-fi movie also.
Oh, okay.
I watched 12 Monkeys.
Oh yeah,
the Bruce Willis time travel movie directed by Terry Gilliam.
Isn't it also Brad Pitt? No.
Yes, Brad Pitt's in it also, which I didn't know, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, early Brad Pitt." When
it's early Brad Pitt, one of his
weird and crazy a lot of times. Anyway, 12 Monkeys. It is a sci-fi movie. It is a time travel movie about. It starts in the future after some kind of big plague has ravaged the Earth.
Yeah,
and they send back Bruce Willis, who is known. He is apparently very good. They send up prisoners to find samples of like animals and stuff for testing, for that kind of thing, to try to figure out how to fix the world. They send him back in time, and there is a lot that goes on and a lot that can be spoiled, but basically the point is they send him back in time to gain information about the virus that took place.
Right.
And it is a Terry Gilliam movie, and Terry Gilliam is very wacky, like he's very quirky. I won't say like goofy and like jovial, but like very off kilter, I think is a good word to put in his directing style. So there's a lot of weird here, a lot of like, why did that choice get made? Just like, this is it in the hands of a different director, this would be a very different movie.
Yeah. All right, I got two more movies that I watched. I got a lot more other things, but not a lot more. Anyway, I watched John Wick 3. Finally.
Yeah.
Finally watched John Wick 3, and here's what I'm gonna say. The first one was the best one, and it goes down in quality every movie.
I agree to a certain extent, yes.
I think that they had they had exactly what they wanted and exactly what they needed in the first movie.
There was not an ounce of fat on that first movie.
Exactly.
It is perfectly honed.
Yes. They have the simplest plot in the world. It's a revenge plot, which are so easy. They did a bad to him. He kills all of them now.
He's Assassin
Done.
Man, kills them all back.
Game over.
Yeah.
And it is executed so well. You still empathize with him because lost his wife. Like, his wife gave him that puppy and all this other stuff. Like,
it's something.
Yes.
There's an emotional element. It's something. It's enough.
And then they keep building on this and building on this, and then they get to the third one, and it's hard to believe, man. Like, I struggled with it.
To me, what I love about those movies, and what I also know and will admit is kind of its downfall, is when they start to expand on the world.
Right.
Because the world is so cool.
It is.
On a surface level, like surface brain level, like, this is the coolest thing. You got these cool hotels, and there's this whole hierarchy of assassins, and you got, like, in the third one you have like the ballet, which I thought was a really cool element of, and you got all these things. They're walking through the ballet and like all the training that's going on. They just show you brief glimpses of it.
It's the Red Room.
They never try to over-explain anything, but also the more that you show, the more like complicated this gets, and it gets away from simple, cool action.
Yes. Not to mention, and this is not a bad thing, it is what it is. Keanu Reeves is getting old. He could not do his stunts and stuff.
It was
like
not
he
the
used
same.
to.
I think that's why they brought in like Halle Berry.
Yeah,
so you get some more other people to be the
who,
focus.
although
of
she
cool
doesn't
action.
age, is still also not old.
She's sure.
Here's what I will say: it is so clear the work that Keanu Reeves has done. Watching Halle Berry try to do the things that Keanu Reeves does, because she seems so much more wooden. It's for her, it's choreography. For Keanu Reeves, it's natural. Also, on that note, I watched The Rhythm Section with Jude Law and Blake Lively. And here's what I will say. When I think of Blake Lively, I don't think, look at this incredible, wonderful actress. I think, hey, she does some fun stuff. She's cool, like whatever Blake Lively, like Ryan Reynolds, similar to that way. This is a performance from Blake Lively that unfortunately the rest of the movie brings down.
Oh, really?
It's the other, like, usually you'll say this is a great movie that this actor or actress brings down. Blake Lively is incredible.
She was outputting a lot more than the rest of the movie was.
She was an incredible star. She begins, like, the whole premise is that she's just a regular girl, and with a young woman, 20s probably,
Sure.
and her family is going on a trip, and she's supposed to go too, but she's late and misses the flight, and the plane explodes.
So it's a like Final Destination.
Yep, it's exactly no. And so she just, in her grief and depression, next thing we see from her is she's a prostitute addicted to drugs.
Wow, just quick switch.
She just like totally spiraled after this, and a guy shows up and says, "Hey, just so you know, this was all planned. There was some political guy on that airplane. And
a high concept movie.
I think that you can help me get revenge." And that's how it starts. And then it goes into just like kind of basic spy action movie type stuff. Like, it's a cliche film with a predictable plot,
Gotcha.
some pretty good performances, but Blake, like, there were many times I was like, that's not Blake Lively. Is that?
Wait a minute.
That is, oh my gosh, like, she is doing so well. So she was the best part of this movie by far. I'm really sad that the movie itself was fine, but she crushed it.
Yeah.
Watch the movie for Blake Lively, guys. Sure. Seriously.
Last movie I'll talk about is Trial of the Chicago 7.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Netflix original from last year, up for Best Picture, about the trial of 7 people charged with starting riots in the 60s, 70s, before like the Democratic National Convention. It's just kind of about their trial. It's a legal drama. And everything that surrounded this very politically charged case, and the, you know, the right to protest and the injustice they face. And it was very, very good. What's great is Sacha Baron Cohen is in this.
Oh.
Sacha Baron Cohen has been nominated for both Borat and this movie. Sacha Baron Cohen is one of the most interesting, like, creative people in the film industry right now.
Man.
Because he, in the same award season, is winning awards for Borat 2, as well as his role in Trial of the Chicago 7, an extremely serious portrayal of real life people. Yeah, like, it's wonderful, but he was a standout in the movie. And also Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in it as the prosecutor against these people. And I wondered, like, Joseph Gordon-Levitt seems to me like the kind of actor who would see the national conversation right now, what's going on, and use his position as a famous actor who could basically get any project he wants, even off the ground, or find a role, and just use that to portray terrible white men. Because that's what it felt like. Like, he was not the most terrible white man, but he was definitely a prosecutor against these protesters.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, cool. Use your platform.
That is cool.
It's wonderful.
All right. We went on for longer than normal.
It's how we do.
But that's okay. Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Let's do it.
Hey, before we do that, just want to let you know that if you're hearing this right now, that means you're listening to an edited version of the Nerdy Gritty. We talked for nearly an hour before this.
A long time.
Yeah, probably cut down to, I don't know, 20 minutes-ish. Yeah,
15,
things
20.
like that. So if you enjoy hearing us banter at the beginning, we encourage you to head over to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/DesmondFox. And that's it, just Desmond Fox, right? I've been doing this for years.
Patreon.com/DesmondFox.
There it is. Thank you.
I believe.
And you
it's
can,
close enough.
You can become one of our patrons at the second level or higher. Yeah. You can get access to the director's cut of the Nerdy Gritty. It includes all of our unedited stuff, plus the secret message from Fox. You have to find it, though.
It's very, very secret.
Only he knows it because it's in his head.
No, you can find it.
Oh, okay. You can find it.
Anybody can find anything they're looking for.
Oh, that's so sad but true. Man, if the pandemic is showing us anything. So
biblical numerology is nonsense, everyone.
Hey guys, coming from 2 theologians, biblical numerology isn't real.
It's not
real. It's a fake thing. Anyway,
that's a weird tangent.
Yeah, anyway, please become a patron. We need money.
Let's get down to the Nerdy Gritty.
Let's go.
So this week, a very hotly anticipated movie called Godzilla vs. King Kong, or Godzilla, is it Godzilla vs. Kong or Godzilla vs.
Kong?
Kong. Okay.
Yeah.
It came out 2 days ago as of this recording, and we watched it, and it got us thinking about dumb movies.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not trying to say that was a dumb movie right off the bat here. We're going to talk about it a little bit.
We are, yeah.
But we wanted to talk about what makes a movie acceptably dumb. At the start here, the premise, what makes a dumb premise still turn out to be good? How does that happen? What are the hallmarks of that kind of thing?
Because we want to be clear, we're not saying bad movie.
Right,
There
right.
are really good premises that turn out to be bad movies,
Yes.
and there are really dumb premises that turn out to be great
We
movies.
have an episode about what makes a good bad movie.
Yeah.
It's a pretty early cut way back when, but this is not about that. This is about a movie that, even though it was a pretty simple or like turn your brain off kind of idea.
2 kaijus done punches. do punches.
They punched. He's got a magic axe.
Yeah.
No, like, even though the premise is very simple, or it's just like, okay, we've seen it a million times, I still really enjoyed that.
Yes.
That was a fun time. So we want to talk about what makes that kind of movie work. Before that, though, let's talk. We've been wanting to talk about
Yes.
Godzilla versus
We're gonna
Kong.
we're gonna spoil it.
We're gonna
just so
spoil
you know.
it. Yes. To be clear, there's not much to be spoiled.
Yeah.
It's not really a twisty turny, roller coaster of a movie. So let's talk about it. What do you think?
I loved every second of the kaiju fighting of the monster
okay,
stuff,
yeah, I can agree so far
Like,
after you added that caveat.
man. And everything else was dumb.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, everything else was dumb.
It was, man, King Kong Skull Island or whatever it was but there's the Monsterverse is what this all a part of. That's what the name of that is. Legendary Pictures Monsterverse. That was by far the best one so far because it had a personality, it had a tone, it had humor, it had a style that it was going for. It was going for like that 60s kind of Apocalypse Now feel, but also some funny. And this one just felt like another Godzilla movie, but it also had King Kong in it. Like, it didn't have any sense of personality.
No.
It was entirely dumb sci-fi for some reason, plus big monster fight. I'm fine with big monster fight, but everything else, like you said,
they
so dumb.
They tried so hard. They tried way too hard.
Way unnecessarily hard.
Absolutely, and we'll talk about this later, but the fact that Mechagodzilla, which by the way is the true villain in all of this,
right?
That Mechagodzilla is actually the brain or the skull of Ghidorah, but it has DNA, sentient thought, and it made it
became
DNA
self-aware or whatever, and
because of energy, and they needed that energy, which they were able to download the energy. Let's be clear. They picked up that little piece of rock
vial of it,
and then they downloaded it.
If you haven't seen it, they literally journey to the center of the earth.
Yes.
Speaking of Brendan Fraser, they go to the Hollow Earth. Which I don't know if is that Hollow Earth. It's just like a big open cave in the middle of the earth. I don't know. Anyway, and then there's energy there that the evil corporation needs to power. Because it doesn't have enough power.
No, the evil corporation is afraid of Godzilla and King Kong. Their other thing is what about when they turn on us? These guys are the alphas. So their beginning premise was, I was fine with this, was there were only 2 Titans left on Earth, and only one of them can be the alpha.
Sure.
That was the beginning premise, and I was like, cool.
That makes sense.
It's
a big monster fight.
That happens in nature. Like that.
Sure.
That makes perfect sense.
Sure.
But big evil corporation was like, no, humans are the alpha. This is how we become the alpha.
Right.
By getting giant energy source and making Mechagodzilla.
We're gonna get into why things are dumb and don't work and whatever. But what I did not like is, yes, they tried too hard and also tried to explain so much.
Yes.
Things that did not need to be explained. They did not need to show that they had the skull of Ghidorah and just say it's a big robot. They're evil big robot. Whatever. Who cares? They just, we don't have to go down to the center of the earth. That was all. It just felt like filler to me. All of it felt so much like filler. You don't need to create, we've got these cool vehicles that can fly down.
Heave.
What? Who cares? I don't just get a plane or something.
Just say you're going to the center of the earth.
And if you feel like you need to do that, just go there. There was that weird portal thing that was just an excuse to get to the center of the earth really fast, but
that
never actually...
Godzilla just drilled a hole into the ground immediately?
Right, yeah. There was just so much that was like trying to get past like it felt like they had a group of people say, okay, people are going to want to know how they did this, when in reality, nah, we just want to see big monkey fight lizard.
Yes.
And that was by far the best part of the movie, were the big fights.
So good.
Yeah. I liked when they were out on the ocean fighting because it felt creative. It felt like it wasn't just big city demolishing. It felt like, okay, I felt Kong's going to die here. How is he going to survive? Like, Godzilla is clearly advantage.
There was the tension of air and being able to breathe, and the humans trying to do whatever they can to help and things like that. Yeah, they built such good tension in those moments. And in that first chunk, trying to bring King Kong to the
Arctic
hole
or whatever.
Yeah, in that first chunk, and the only reason that Godzilla is fighting Kong is the alpha thing.
Yes,
that is at that moment. That's the only reason they're fighting. And that was fine.
It was fine.
We were all happy with that.
Just let it go. Just let this be the movie. Yeah, and I also didn't care about a single human.
Nope.
None of them.
None.
I do not care. At the very most, I'd say I like that they they wanted you to root for Kong because he is the underdog here, that we'd all expect him to be the underdog. And so they gave him the ability to use sign language, which was goofy, but also I like that.
No, endearing. I loved it.
It's endearing, and also gorillas can use sign language in real life.
Right.
That is a real thing.
It was so funny because there's that moment when two people look at each other like, oh, he can talk? And I said out loud, congratulations, you've reached the Jane Goodall of 1980.
Yeah, and
you did it.
Thing for 40 years. Yeah. Oh, who turns out this little girl who speaks sign language taught a monkey how to use sign language. It's not the first time that's happened. I mean, it's still a fun reveal, but
right, it's cool.
Like, you guys are scientists. This should have been your.
You should have been trying to do this immediately.
Way, like, your goal.
Yeah.
Anyway, the movie overall was very dumb, mostly because it tried to explain things and try to create these cools. I hated Brian Henry Tyree, like the conspiracy theory. That felt so dumb and forced and not necessary. Like, all of that was so that they could get to the computer console to turn off Mechagodzilla, because they couldn't just have King Kong kill him. Like,
let's be clear, you guys. Two teenagers and a guy in a tinfoil hat basically find a way to sneak into like an incredibly secure, high-tech facility in Hong Kong. They're in America, and they accidentally make their way to Hong Kong
in 20 minutes.
And infiltrate this facility.
This is all real.
And it was like, you're like, I don't care about these people.
None of this matters.
Right.
And it only matters in the plot because, oh no, they need to try to shut down Mechagodzilla. No, that's what King Kong and Godzilla should be doing. They literally throw some liquid on a computer console and it shorts him out or something.
Right.
And then King Kong tears him apart with an axe.
Which was like awesome.
That's the better part.
Yes.
Just let King Kong do his thing. Don't make him dependent on these stupid humans. That's what all the Godzilla movies, the recent ones, have had the problem of feeling like they need humans to be. Right. This should be a disaster movie, and humans should be trying to survive, not like helping out giant monsters. That makes no sense. It
was the same issue with Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Yes.
I don't care about all of these people. I want to see Godzilla fighting these incredible other kaiju.
Yes.
So
give
good.
Give me cool monsters. Give me cool, creative, engaging action.
Right.
And sure, give me some humans that you go back to so we get connected to them, but show them trying to escape and survive, not trying to be best friends.
Man,
it's so dumb.
There's even a moment where Godzilla and Kong are fighting, and Godzilla wins. I want to make that clear because I said
like
he
that.
would. I like that.
Clearly a winner.
And there was a moment when Godzilla looks at Kong and then nods at him and walks away, and
wonderful.
I loved it. Yes,
wonderful.
It was so good. But it was that moment of I won. I won.
This is
We're
over.
Good. Deuces.
Yeah.
And then Mechagodzilla attacks Godzilla, and Godzilla is losing because one-on-one Mechagodzilla is better.
Yes.
And then Kong comes in and the two of them start fighting together. And that should have been it. You should have
Yeah,
just said, now two of them fighting.
Yes.
Now they can win, and teamwork wins the day here.
Yeah.
Humans were entirely unnecessary.
Here was my super, like, it was not justified for me to have this expectation, but I was very disappointed. I was really hoping that this would be like the backdoor like entry into the Pacific Rim reboot.
Right.
Legendary Pictures, who owns the Monsterverse, also owns Pacific Rim. A couple of there's also a anime now on Netflix, but a pair of kaiju versus giant mech movies and the first one is really great. What I was hoping is that this would, at the very end, maybe even the post credits, I was hoping that there's this one of the very last things that happens in the movie is Kong stands up again with his axe, and Godzilla like looks at him like, you gonna start stuff again, and King Kong drops his axe, and then Godzilla turns around and walks away. Like, that's it, it's over. King Kong bows to the alpha, sure, whatever. But then I was hoping that King Kong would turn around and we'd see a big portal open out over the ocean and monsters fly in, and it'd be a Pacific Rim kind of thing, because that was like a space portal open, and monsters fly in. And I wanted King Kong and Godzilla to run up to each other and do the Predator, like grab each other's hands and like flex their muscles. And then it's just hard cut to credits, and that is like the best ending of all time.
Because let's be honest, nobody's taking this movie seriously.
You should not be taking this as a serious drama. I want just max cheese, and they did not. I wish there was more of that.
Yes,
I wish there was there was a classic little shot in Predator when the original Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger and other action man, I forget his name. They just meet each other.
I say Jim Brown, but it's not.
No. They just meet each other or not meet each other, but they're like greeting each other for the first time, and they grab each other's arms and do like
and they got this muscles,
and it's just a zoom in on the most ridiculous, like it's a perfect 80s action beefcake shot, and I wanted that to happen. And then then we get
but a lizard arm and a monkey arm.
Exactly. And then in the next movie we have the Jaeger program start up, and they all fight monsters together, and it'd be the coolest thing of all time.
That would be the coolest thing.
Understandable that I made that up, and I was hoping for it, and it didn't happen. That's not justifiable to me, but I feel like the movie's worse because they didn't.
Here's what I will say, and we're talking too much about it, but it's okay.
We'll get into it.
Here's what I will say, though, is the Godzilla vs. Kong parts were incredible.
They were great. They were fun.
The animation was top-notch. The choreography was great. The way that they made Godzilla and King Kong emote really successfully
without looking like cartoon characters,
right? And it was really good.
I think Thanos level of didn't even think about the fact that they're not real, aside from like me appreciating the movie and how it like you don't even think about it. It's just that's really good CGI.
The lighting on Godzilla whenever he did his laser
I
was
love
something that was just
the
so
Hong Kong fight, the super like Technicolor like neon also reminded me of Pacific Rim.
Man,
super cool stuff.
So the movie, all in all, I enjoyed. I would watch it again. I would give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, but
it was fun, really enjoyable. I want the reverse Snyder cuts. I want the 45-minute vision of this movie.
Get Millie Bobby Brown or whatever her name is.
Yeah,
out of
edit
here.
that out of there.
Get Kiwi Kid out of here. Go back to New Zealand where you can go to movies already. Okay. All right. So let's talk about, because we agree there was a lot of dumb in this.
Yes.
And it detracted from the movie. But there are also movies where we will say that was dumb, but we love it for it. I will say Fast and the Furious franchise is my major, those are so dumb.
The Resident Evil ones, the ones that I want to bring up.
Yes, those are the sci-fi fantasy version of the Fast and Furious, although those get into fantasy territory also.
Yeah.
But just, it's ridiculous. But they're dumb, but we love watching them. And you can't definitively say that's just bad. You can say, though, it's dumb, but I love it. That kind of thing. So let's talk about what makes a dumb movie acceptable and even fun to watch.
So and this is where we already a little bit touched on this, but Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and Godzilla vs. Kong failed, and where I think Resident Evil succeeds, and it's the amount of time they try to explain it.
Yes.
And
That's a big part of it.
A huge part of it. The more you try and put granular plot into this and explain everything for the Resident Evil movies, it's zombies shoot and run.
Shoot zombies.
Yeah, and that's about it. And there's a little bit of like, Alice has superpowers, ? Cool.
Then they forget it in the next one.
They don't say why. It's not important. It's, who cares? She has superpowers. That's awesome. And it's so much fun to watch these people shooting these monsters and these zombies and trying to get out and things like that, where there are like 15-minute sequences where people are talking to each other. And you're sitting there wondering, why are giant monsters not punching each other? Yeah. And so when you have a plot, so you begin, like, they began with, we want Godzilla and King Kong to fight each other.
Yes.
They began with that. Don't build to a point where you say, well, for this to make sense, we need to have this 15 minutes of dialogue.
Sure.
Don't forget about the dialogue. Make it as simple of a premise as possible. Be comfortable with a half an hour action sequence.
Right.
Yeah, let it go.
Yeah. I would say, to build on that, don't try to explain or justify things that don't need to be explained.
Right.
We still need to know why characters are doing things.
Right.
Like, there still needs to be a understandable plot. But Godzilla versus Kong, we don't need to see, it's the Ghidorah skull that's making Mechagodzilla evil now. No, Mechagodzilla was evil from the start.
Right.
We didn't need to see another scientist putting on a little thing. I thought this was okay. In the movie, he put, like, one of the evil scientists puts on a little, like, helmet
thing,
and it allows him to control Mechagodzilla.
Right.
I thought that was going to be kind of a lead into the Jaeger program. Anyway,
you were so hopeful.
I felt like they kind of catfished me on that one. We didn't need that. Just make him evil robot. Just make him robot that shoots lasers at bad monkey and bad, lizard. We didn't need any of that, and it just detracts from the movie, because even if you don't add to the fights, if you take that 5 minutes out of the movie, it makes the rest of the movie a lot more fun to watch, And so don't explain things that need to be explained for us to at least understand why characters are doing things, but don't make them do things that don't need to be explained.
My wife had the best idea. She was like, we as a culture right now are so ready to accept the AI gone wrong.
Yes.
There's been a million movies about it before.
Yes.
It could have been 5 minutes of dialogue of saying, we have Mechagodzilla to protect us from the kaiju. We've developed this AI. And there you go. Now AI gone wrong. Now Mechagodzilla attacks.
You know what? It should have been cool. Mechagodzilla's online. Oops, scientists knocked over some water onto the console and made him go haywire.
Yeah.
And then, like, they stop him, if they wanted to keep including this, by just pouring more water on it. But yeah, you don't need any of that.
Godzilla gets a big cup of water and pours it on Mechagodzilla.
Pushes him in the ocean.
And then high fives King Kong.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Oh man.
Here's something else I think is also pretty necessary for a dumb movie to be enjoyable, and I think is why a lot of people connect with Fast and the Furious so much, is you still need characters you like.
Yes.
You still every single movie except for the weirdest, most like experimental plots need characters you enjoy and want to connect with and want to see succeed. So in a movie like Godzilla versus Kong, those characters should be ones that a family that is trying to survive, and you want to see them survive. Like that, it doesn't mean you don't need complex family, dynamics. You don't need them to be scientists trying to figure out what's going on or like sneaking into a big facility. We just want to like connect with them and want them to survive. Like, we recognize this is a fun action scene of destruction, but also there's people here. And so we want to see, you need characters that we like and want to see succeed.
Even you can even stick with the little girl who's connected with King Kong.
Sure.
And then her family's trying to escape all this, and then she runs back to King Kong and,
right.
Oh no, what's gonna happen? And then like Godzilla's just about to step on her, and then like King Kong stops him, like right at that last second. Yeah. Oh man, it'd be good.
Or like maybe he did, but she tells King Kong to be careful in sign language. And I like that, and I really wish that when he stood up with the axe, and he might have, I don't remember, should have like went to go, like takes a step forward to fight and then looks back at her and then drops the axe. I think that would have been a really nice touch of like, he's thinking of her.
Yeah.
And that would have been great. But it wasn't necessary. It's fine. But yeah, you need a character to enjoy. John Wick has that. You like John Wick. You want him to succeed. Fast and Furious has that. I would say Resident Evil doesn't have that to a great degree. And that's why Alice is your most, but
honestly, I think that's why Resident Evil has failed where Fast and Furious has succeeded.
Because you want to see Letty and Dom, and when Paul Walker dies in real life, it feels like he dies in the movie, even though he doesn't, because you love him so much, and like it's such a emotional connection there. Even though a lot of the movie is The Rock pushing a missile across an ice lake at an, this doesn't matter. I want to see Dom survive. Let's keep going. Let's make
family.
Let's make Fast and Furious 9 go to space.
Family.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's
my family's gonna live on Mars now. Cool. I'm on board. Let's do it.
Yeah, but you're right. It's because we like these characters that we're able to accept their stupidity.
Yes.
And things like that. For sure.
Except the plot stupidity.
Right. Also, they're stupid, but still,
sometimes
he drives a car off a bridge, hooks it onto the bumper, and Spider-Man swings.
Hey, Des, I got a quick question for you. Did it work?
No, he died. Did you not see that part?
Did it work?
Yes.
No jokes. Did it work?
Yes.
Then it's not dumb, huh? It's not dumb, huh? Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
Fox will fight and die for Fast and the Furious.
I'm looking forward to 9.
Okay. Back to John Wick a little bit here.
Yeah.
Whatever you are going to be focusing on, whether this is a dumb car movie, whether this is a dumb superhero movie, or a fight movie, you need to do that perfectly.
Do it well. Yes.
That's got to be. That's what makes John Wick succeed.
Yes.
Again, the plot is, I'm not going to say it's dumb, but it's as simple as can possibly be.
Yes.
It's revenge plot, and it still is through each and every movie. It's revenge plot.
It's just an escalated revenge plot.
Right. And because of that, if that's all you're going to have in that area, what you want to focus on has to be crisp cut,
100%.
perfect. And that's where John Wick succeeds hugely. And that's where I think Godzilla vs. Kong succeeds as well, where those combat scenes between Godzilla and King Kong are spectacular.
Super fun to watch.
Yes. You watch that and you can feel each footstep, each punch. Like, it's spectacular.
Especially the one out on the ocean.
Yes.
Because it was weird and I felt genuine. Like, it was not just building destruction. It
right.
was something interesting I hadn't seen. And that was fun. So to build on that, technical prowess can overcome a dumb plot. A good movie with a simple plot can be made. So here's a great example of this is Fury Road, Mad Max Fury Road. While it is not the most simple of plots, like the actual action that happens is literally just driving back and forth, but you have a lot of complex character interactions. You have a lot of good character arcs. There's more. I would not say that's a dumb. No, it's very simple to understand, but it is not a dumb movie.
Not at all.
But it also, in the simplicity of the plot, also has like really well technically executed, like action scenes actually have like consequences to them. They're not fighting for the sake of fighting. They're not just fighting because evil and bad. There are things that continue to happen plot wise in these fighting, like these scenes. There's really good like examples of setting something up and having it pay off later. Really good writing. The dialogue is just freaking honed down to exactly what you need. You understand who is doing what and why at all times, even though they are chaotic action scenes, all that kind of stuff, plus the actual sets and the props and the cars are super cool to see. And I think John Wick does this also, where like you're saying, even though it's very simple and pretty dumb as far as like the complexity of the plot, you can appreciate a lot of the technical ability of the movie that elevates it. Die Hard is like this to me.
Yes.
Die Hard is very
That's a
simple,
great example.
but it is a super well-honed plot. You know exactly which characters are doing what and why. You know, like there is not a single ounce of fat that could be trimmed off of this movie, and you actually root for the character. Die Hard, to me, is a perfect movie.
Yeah.
Because of this. And not that it's a perfectly complex and philosophical.
Academy Award winning.
Yeah, no. But it is perfect in exactly what it wanted to do. Same with like Terminator.
Yes.
There's a lot of really great, simple but effective and entertaining movies that are, in my opinion, perfect because of it.
Well, so Terminator's a great example for what my next one's going to be.
Yeah.
Pacing.
Yeah.
So if you're going to have a high action film like this, that action needs to stay fresh. And so you need to like execute pacing perfectly.
Yes.
Terminator does this so well. That original and Terminator 2, which is arguably better than the original.
I'd agree.
Where they do Terminator 2 specifically, where there's so many moments where you're in that moment of, okay, we're calm, things are okay, let's check in on our family. All right, family's okay, and then it cuts to family, and the mom has stabbed the dad through the head.
Right.
And you're like, oh, jeez, like,
yeah.
And then it just moves on, and they just kind of like, it's not full on action scene. It's just that bit. They just toss that tension little, back at you.
Yeah,
that reminder.
There, literally.
And the pacing in those films are so great.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna have a film in which you are focusing on that shooting, that fighting, that driving, whatever it is, you need to take a break from that sometimes and let it stay fresh and stay exciting. Tone it down sometimes, crank it up sometimes. Yeah. A bad example of this is the original Gone in 60 Seconds. Have you ever seen that?
I have. I love it, but yes, I agree.
The original?
Yeah, the original from the 60s.
Yeah. It ends with a 45-minute car chase.
Which is kind of why I love it.
It's like, to me, it's like there's a couple of car things, and then everything is all at once at the end in that 45-minute car chase.
I'd agree.
Yeah, and it's just like, look, man, this was awesome for 20 minutes. It's still pretty cool for half an hour.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
It clearly was a movie made. Let's do a lot of cool car stunts, and then they didn't know how to end it, so they had the most convenient plot point of all time. Hey, look, there's the exact same car that they're chasing.
Right.
Let's just get in that one. They'll chase the perfect. Anyway, yeah. I'd say another thing that makes a good dumb movie, that it allow the plot to be dumb, but don't treat the audience the same way.
Ooh,
and this ties
in
with like, you don't need to explain things that don't need to be explained, but we as an audience can understand what's going on without you spelling everything out. And so like, just allow the audience to assume the right thing, because they're going to most of the time. I'd say this is true for like John Wick. Especially if it's not something necessary to the plot. They never explain all the ins and outs. They give you some fun rules and some things, but they don't tell you all the details about the Continental, this hotel where people stay, where the assassins stay, because it's, first of all, not core to the movie. And also, if they took the time to try to explain how all of this works, the movie would be worse.
Yes.
Like, you just like be bored because you're giving me extraneous information, as well as I can assume that things happen here that are bad, or or they don't try to explain how many assassins are in New York. You just see a lot of them and you're like, well, I guess there's a lot of assassins. That's fun.
How many people need to die on Earth that this many assassins are necessary?
But also, that's part of the fun. They don't you don't have Winston come out and say, there are currently X number of assassins, and they're all every single one of them, so you're gonna have to go do all of these, go to this place and go to this place. And you don't have John Wick saying, I'm going to the ballet to do this. You have him go to the ballet and do that, and you get the exact same amount of information with a lot less extraneous dialogue. Let the audience feel smart and just be as smart as they are. Like, it's disappointing when it feels like you're insulting the audience by explaining so much.
That's good. I like that. And it leads me to my last one, which I was just going to say keep your time short, but you said the phrase a lot of times, trim the fat. And I think that's a really great way to say that. Godzilla vs. Kong is just under 2 hours, which today it's a shorter movie.
Fairly, you know I mean? For a big summer blockbuster, absolutely, that is a shorter movie.
And I still think it was 20 minutes too long, probably. Yes, like it could have been trimmed down to
an hour and a half.
I feel like there is an amount of production company that steps in and says your movie has to be this.
There's some outside influence,
or whatever else. But I feel like, be comfortable with a 90-minute movie.
Yes.
Be totally happy with that. I think a good example of this, and again, kind of like you were saying with Mad Max, this is not a dumb movie. This is a spectacular film. But Tim Burton's stop motion films.
Oh yeah.
So whether it be Night Before Christmas or Corpse Bride or whatever else, they're all in the 70 to 80 minute area.
Right.
Like, they are short movies because that's all they need to be as good as they are. Here are beloved films that have set like a subculture of pop culture with all the goth and emo kids out there and Dez's in the world. Like, they have created
cultural impact.
Yes, huge cultural impact at 72 or 79 minutes, I think is what A Night Before Christmas is. Yes, I know the exact runtime of the
You see
film.
it enough, I get it.
But it's okay. It's be comfortable having your film be shorter in your editing room. Take a look at it and say, this is unnecessary. Let's cut this out. Let's trim down this fat. This is what people want to see. Cut off everything else that is not
too
necessary.
short or too long are feelings, not facts.
Right.
So like Kubo and the Two Strings is an hour and 43 minutes. It is the longest stop motion movie ever made.
Yeah.
And it's also great. But
It's
like
incredible.
you don't have to. Yeah. Like I said, it's a feeling of whether or not something is too long or too short. And like this comes down to like audience testing. And, it's a hard thing to do. But just be willing to have a shorter movie than is average or whatever if it's still an excellent movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, one last thing. Yeah. So those are our big reasons, like how you make a dumb movie fun. Also want to talk about like not every dumb movie is an action movie. Like not every dumb but good movie is action movie.
Right.
Right. We've talked a lot of action movies here. But let's talk about like, I think here's what I'm going to submit to you is one of my favorite dumb but really great movies. Mamma Mia.
Yeah, there you go.
I think every genre has dumb but entertaining movies. Dumb but effectively entertaining. Not just turn your brain off, but like fun to watch. And I think Mamma Mia and hot take alert, Mamma Mia 2 is better. Mamma Mia 2 are very fun, but they don't really do anything. They're just like fun. Let's just sing along with this great music and this whatever plot and do it well. We were talking a little bit about this yesterday. You submitted
this morning.
A lot of yesterday.
Go ahead.
A lot of good comedies. A lot of comedies.
Right.
Are
This
dumb,
was yesterday.
This was
You're
yesterday.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Time's weird right now.
Yes, it is. Yeah, a lot of different comedies, like specifically like classic Jim Carrey comedies and things like that are dumb.
Yeah.
And they know they're dumb.
They don't do anything. They're not trying to be highbrow humor.
Right. But they go in and they say, we want to make them laugh. I think that's the early Happy Madison movies did a really good job of this as well. A lot of the 90s, early 2000s comedies of just, we're here to make you laugh in this way. And it'll be a little bit endearing as well, but that's all we need.
It is a more subjective realm because humor is always subjective to anybody. But you can always tell. I think there's, I guess, one last thing that you have to be from a genuine place to make a good but dumb movie.
I mean, rom-coms, we were talking about Crazy Rich Asians.
Sure, yeah.
I
would even say Crazy Rich Asians is a little above that because, I mean, at least from an American perspective, I'm learning things with that as far as like, culture of Taiwan, and that's where they go, right? No, Hong Kong. I was going to... Singapore? Maybe. Something like that. China. China. It is a...
I was thinking 10 Things I Hate About You. That's probably one of my favorite rom-coms out there.
Yeah.
And of course it has the foundation of Taming of the Shrew, Shakespeare.
Sure, yeah. It's not just I'd say High Fidelity. John Cusack, which is essentially what people call a chick flick, but about a dude, which you don't get very often.
Yeah.
And so every genre has its dumb but fun movie, and at the end of the day, you get to like whatever you get to like.
Yes.
But there is still an element of like, you can be critical about movies and see like, why was this an entertaining but dumb movie and why was this not? And I think a lot of that comes from a genuine place of wanting to make something great. I think Jim Carrey is a really great example of that. Where he's a fun and wants to make you laugh and doesn't try to do it at people's expense and all that. So,
and does a great job of it for sure. Well, guys, those are our thoughts on dumb premises that can still make good movies. Let us know what you thought about these. Let us know what you thought about Godzilla vs. Kong and what you think makes a dumb premise still a very good movie. I want to say thank you to you guys for listening. Also, thank you to Granger for the use of our theme song, All My Friends Have Wi-Fi, and so do some of my neighbors. Go check out Granger. Also, about Granger, thank you to Luke, who joined us for a charity stream recently. We helped raise about $5,000 total. The stream alone raised about $2,000 for a family who has a son in the hospital looking for a heart transplant.
The song is called All My Friends Have Wi-Fi, and so do most of my neighbors.
So do most of my neighbors.
We never get that right.
It's a long name, Granger.
Sorry.
It's your fault. All My Friends Have Wi-Fi, and so do most of my neighbors. Yeah. Off of the album Sear Dam.
There it is.
Dear Sam, and thanks to Luke for joining us for the charity stream.
Wonderful.
Anyway,
Go head over to our YouTube channel. We are currently playing It Takes Two.
Yes.
A really fun co-op only game. It's really fun. we've got other stuff coming up. We've got thousands and thousands of videos on there. We played a lot of stuff. We've got Pokemon coming up soon. We'll probably play some Loop Hero. We've got a lot going on there.
Yep.
So go check out our YouTube channel.
One more time, guys, thank you all so much. And always remember that save games, save lives.
Bye.
My voice sings all night.